The $50 million lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe has been dismissed with prejudice, meaning this ex girlfriend that was 19 years old when Shannon Sharpe met her cannot sue him again. Was there a settlement?
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So a moment ago, it was revealed that this lawsuit, this $50 million lawsuit that was filed against Shannon Sharpe, brought to you by as a very familiar legal name, Tony Buzbee, has been dismissed. They have not confirmed that there has been a settlement, but all signs point to there being a settlement. Let me just remind you, this young woman who at the time met Shannon Sharpe, she was 19 years old, filed a $50 million lawsuit against him. Shout out to our friends over at the Shade Room. They remind us that this is what Shannon Sharpe released after this $50 million lawsuit was revealed. He released on his social media some of the text messages between himself and Gabriella Zuniga, who is the woman that was suing him for $50 million, that date back to 2023. Some of the text message included, only if you want to put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want to me. Text from Gabrielle Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe back in November of 2023. Another one says, I want to put my tongue in your and then marry you. Text from Gabriella Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe from January of 2024. Another one says, that's my daddy. F want you to put a big black baby in me. Text from Gabriella Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe on August 6th of 2024. Then another text says, you better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me.
My God, today.
Text from Gabrielle Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe on August 11th of 2024. According to Shannon, he says in this statement, public statement, these messages are just a sampling of a broader pattern of graphic sexual communications initiated by Ms. Zuniga. The evidence paints a clear picture that this was a consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, sexual language, and fantasy scenarios explicitly requested by Ms. Zuniga. The edited tape that Ms. Zuniga secretly taped, and we play this for you, where it did sound like it was heavily edited because there was a lot of stops and pauses. I will tag the previous reports on this, but she accused him of a lot of damaging things, including R. So the edited tape that Ms. Zuniga secretly taped and showed to Mr. Sharpe during her blackmail attempts tries to falsely portray, as a result of this editing and out of context from prior text messages, that the sexual activity was not consensual. But Mr. Sharpe now believes her secret taping was all a part of her plan set up as a part of her blackmail scheme, as distorted by her edited tape, a copy of which she refused to make available to Mr. Sharpe or his counsel. Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lie of grape, and will not submit what he sees as an egregious attempt at blackmail. He stands firmly by the truth and is prepared to fight these false claims vigorously in court. That's important to note with everything that's playing out now. He looks forward to vindication through due process and a judgment based on the facts and the law. This was just a part of the statement that Lanny Davis, Shannon Sharpe's attorney, had released, okay? Including some of the text messages. So at the beginning of his statement, he said the lawsuit filed by Gabriella Zuniga and orchestrated by her attorney, Tony Buzbee, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. It is filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed. In her effort to extract a large financial settlement, Ms. Zuniga presented Mr. Sharpe with a secret recorded video of a consensual sexual encounter. We believe the video has been heavily edited and taken entirely out of context, crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. Ms. Zuniga has refused to provide a copy of the full, unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharpe's legal team. To set the record straight, we are releasing several of Ms. Zuniga's own explicit text messages to Mr. Sharpe that clearly indicate the nature of their relationship was consensual and sexual in nature, and in many cases initiated by her with specific and graphic requests. Contrary to allegations she makes in her lawsuit, consensual sex continued until January 2nd of 2025, the day after she asked for $25,000 per cheek, as quoted above from her text message to Mr. Sharpe. It was also Lanny Davis that revealed previously, before he started representing Shannon Sharpe, that Shannon was ready to settle with Gabriella for $10 million, which a lot of us said to us, you offered her $10 million and she refused it. And then she proceeded to file this $50 million lawsuit. The Kempire After Dark live experience, the Villain Era, is coming to Atlanta next. Shout out to Philly. We had a fantastic time in Philly. We covered everything from Diddy to Tyler Perry to Real Housewives of Atlanta and Real Housewives of Miami. We even talked about Trump and the Epstein files. You just never know what's going to come up during our night of hot topics. You spilling tea, me spilling tea, and we had such a fantastic time the last time I came to Atlanta. Let's continue that fun. And then we're coming to DC. We always have a good time in DC, but this is the first time I'm coming to DC for the summer. So you know it's about to be lit. Make sure you get your tickets for that show. But then, of course, we're going to end our summer tour with the Kempire After Dark live experience here in New York City at the Green Room 42, September 12th. That should be a special, special show. All the shows have meet and greets available, but the New York City show, there's a live stream option. So if you're watching this from across the country or around the world, you can watch it and have that video for a week. But don't wait until after the show. You won't be able to get the live stream ticket then. Get your tickets today. More information on the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live experience will be coming to a city near you. Get your tickets today in the description. I will always say this before when we talk about this, settlements do not mean innocence and they do not necessarily mean guilt. A lot of times these individuals do not want they don't want the public speculating on this. They don't want the scrutiny to be put out there. They don't want the stories or the allegations, or they do not want discovery, which could dig up a lot of other things that they do not want presented in court or made public. But as I said to you before, there was this $10 million settlement that was revealed by Shannon Sharpe's own lawyer. So according to NBC Sports back in April of 2025 of this year, on one hand, they said, attorney Lanny Davis has launched an aggressive defense of the Hall of Fame tight end and media personality Shannon Sharpe. On the other hand, Davis has confirmed that Sharpe has made a very significant financial offer to the plaintiff. During a Tuesday conference call, Davis repeatedly said that Sharpe offered tens of millions of dollars to settle the case before the lawsuit was filed. After several requests for clarification, Davis, after repeating that it was tens of millions, revised his position to say that it was at least 10 million. Whether 10 million or some multiples of 10 million, that's a stunning revelation. Davis was asked to clarify whether Sharpe offered 10 million or in the tens of millions. The offer was made in a formal mediation session before Davis was involved in the case, which a lot of people say, that's interesting that she decided not to go with the 10 million, which says to me, based off this settlement, she's probably, well, we don't know if it's a settlement or not, but based off of her dropping this lawsuit, says to me that there was some sort of settlement. And we won't ever really know because normally in settlements, there is a non-disclosure agreement where neither party is able to talk about the details of what happened. We only found out about Cassie's settlement with Diddy because it was brought up in a criminal trial. It makes me wonder if more cases will be coming out, but at this particular point, I haven't heard any. But we did cover in the past that this isn't the first time that Shannon Sharpe has been accused of inappropriate behavior. Just want to point that out. Doesn't mean that he did anything, and this is not the first time there may have been a settlement. But now Tony Buzbee is confirming that this lawsuit, Jane Doe versus Shannon Sharpe, remember Shannon Sharpe was the one who came out and revealed who this person was, doxing her. Tony Buzbee says in a statement on social media, on April 20th of 2025, the Buzbee law firm filed a complaint in Nevada making several allegations against Shannon Sharpe on behalf of our client. You may also recall that there was a particular point where Jane Doe's attorneys did not show up to court. That was recently, and it might be because they were working on some sort of settlement. But according to this report from Pro Football Talk, they said attorney Tony Buzbee explains his no-show at the recent hearing in the Shannon Sharpe civil lawsuit. Per Buzbee, who has shared a quote from Sharpe's counsel, the hearing had been postponed by agreement of the lawyer. According to this report, they said that there was a hearing on Wednesday in the civil lawsuit against Hall of Fame tight end Shannon Sharpe. There wasn't supposed to be. Attorney Tony Buzbee has informed PFT that the lawyers had agreed to postpone to the July 9th hearing. Buzbee shared this statement from Sharpe's legal team. We are apologizing to the court by letter for wasting the court's time. There was a mutual agreement among counsel to postpone the motion scheduled for July 9th, which, again, I'm not an attorney, but based on what I'm seeing here, they probably were already in conversation about some sort of settlement. My speculation, I'm not saying that's fact. They said, we are apologizing to the court by letter for wasting the court's time. There was a mutual agreement among counsel to postpone the motion scheduled for July 9th. As a result, there was no expectation by our team that her legal team would appear in person. It's odd that Shannon Sharpe's lawyers would have shown up for the hearing if the hearing had been postponed. It's odd that if and when the judge expressed disappointment regarding the failure of the plaintiff's lawyers to appear, that Sharpe's lawyers wouldn't have said that the lawyers had agreed to postpone the hearing. So that's where it feels a little, are you lying? But it also says to me that possibly they were working on some sort of settlement and they had not reached an agreement. Back to what Tony Buzbee is now saying today. He says, on April 20th of 2025, the Buzbee law firm filed a complaint in Nevada making several allegations against Shannon Sharpe on behalf of our client. Both sides acknowledge a long-term consensual and tumultuous relationship. That's very important because you remember her lawsuit was saying that there were moments where there was no consent. But we've talked about this with the Cassie case. And in any other relationship, there are moments in consensual relationships where there are moments of non-consent and is against the law. Not saying that's happening here, but it's important to note. After protracted and respectful negotiations, that's important to note as well, I'm pleased to announce that we have reached a mutual agreed upon resolution. He's not saying settlement, but the words are signaling a settlement. All matters have now been addressed satisfactorily, and the matter is closed. The lawsuit will be thus dismissed with prejudice, meaning that she will not be able to bring this back up later. I'm pretty sure this 20-something-year-old woman has walked away with a multi-million-dollar settlement. So that is the update in regards to this $50 million lawsuit that was filed against Shannon Sharpe. I hope that this was a lesson to him in a lot of different ways. I guess we'll have to wait and see what this means in the future for Shannon Sharpe when it comes to, because he did step away when it comes to his duties in regards to his podcast, the tour, and his sporting commentary. I'm sure we will see him return soon because isn't football season starting now? So if I'm wrong, y'all know I don't do sports. KSPN. Guys, I want to know your thoughts on this update that this $50 million lawsuit seemingly has been settled. They've now removed it from a lawsuit to saying that they're dismissing it with prejudice. I'm assuming that there was some sort of settlement. And if she did not settle for $10 million before, please understand she got more than $10 million this time around. Guys, as always, let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Here we go now.